Stay Doomed Adventures. It's a different theme song because we traveled with TV's Noah.
Oh, all right, cool. I didn't know we were trying out a brand new theme song.
I was just trying something.
All right. Laura's here as well.
Yeah, I'm still Laura Prince.
And welcome to Stay Doomed goes on yet another adventure. So this is about our trip to MAGFEST. We were unable to record a Razzie episode, so we thought we would discuss our happenings at MAGFEST. I'm realizing now that we didn't do a lot of structured activities at MAGFEST.
No, we did a lot of wandering. We did make use of a lot of the facilities. We did play in the consoles. We played in the arcade. But we didn't do as much of the structured activities, no. No,
so I don't know how long this episode will be, but this is our review, or at least our experiences, of MAGFEST 2025, the Sonic-themed one.
The theming was so good this time.
Yes. Everything had that, bright yellow with the red and blue kind of feel to it, that, iconic Sonic logo look to it.
There was a point where you looked at me and said, I didn't realize how 80s Sonic was.
Yeah, Sonic is very 80s in feel.
And we had a lot of fun with the theming. They also had the sub-theme of chili dogs because of Sonic, but
yes,
that was the iconography that they were really leaning into.
Yeah, a lot of people just dressed as hot dogs or chili dogs wandering around the convention. If you don't know, MAGFEST stands for Music and Games. So it is a music and games festival. So the focus of MAGFEST tends to be on video game music, video game artists. But there's also just standard video games. And, some comedians show up as well.
Yeah, so we got there, we hit so much traffic and got quite lost.
It was probably the worst drive to MAGFEST I had experienced. And usually I'm driving at 1 a.m. through a snowstorm. Usually we're planning on leaving Thursday morning, and then Wednesday night we're like, it's going to snow, we should leave now. And then I end up driving through a snowstorm. Would have much preferred that to the traffic I had to sit through.
Yeah, I remember one year, we had not even packed yet when we realized it was going to snow.
Yeah.
And so we just found ourselves panicking and being like, oh, no, we packed in a rush.
Yes.
And we packed in a rush this year, too.
I mean, I think we always pack in a rush, but I do remember the year that I left from my comedy show.
Yes.
To go. It was you called me and we should leave now. And I was like, okay, goodbye everyone at my comedy show.
Yeah, that was again, another year where it was just very inclement weather.
But we got there safely, and we were making the Uber trips to MAGFEST. We got there, Thursday night at 7-ish?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we got a bit of a late start, and just traffic was, miserable. And as soon as we got to MAGFEST, though, that all kind of drifted away, and we made our way through the amazing hallways that are MAGFEST. So let's talk a little bit about the arcade this year.
Yeah, now we usually stay in Alexandria, so you're going to hear references to us taking rideshare to and from.
Right.
If you're in Alexandria and taking rideshare is possible, I would recommend that over trying to park.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we didn't really have a lot of problems with rideshare.
Yes. So the downstairs area of MAGFEST, there's the biggest convention hall of it. They kind of split it up into 4 areas. There's the arcade, the indie showcase, the vendors hall, and then the console room.
Yes. So it's in these kind of 4 big chunks.
So yeah, let's just break down our experiences in each room.
Yeah. The vendors hall. I definitely didn't spend too much money, and I definitely didn't buy a bunch of makeup.
You kind of have to talk about the things you did, or else this won't be a show.
Oh. I definitely didn't buy Too much makeup.
What'd you buy, Laura?
Too much makeup.
Did any more details?
I really like the surreal makeup that they have there. They have a lot of like glitter makeup and bright colors, and that pleases me because I am at least one chunk magpie.
True.
So I bought myself a lot of makeup. You also went to Star Salt and bought a Scott Holiday purple Pokemon shirt?
Yes. So if you don't know, I love suits. I've recently, like in the last 2-3 years, was just like I love wearing suits, and I do really love purple. So they had a purple Pokemon shirt that was like a collage of various ghost types, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wear this. So that's going to be coming to a independent wrestling show near you, not knowing where you are, listener.
And I will just be predictably covered in glitter. I also bought a lot of stickers, and I bought some pins. So we did pretty much all of our shopping Thursday night.
Yes.
Because we don't usually go in Sunday. So we don't usually go back for whatever deals might be left in the vendor hall.
Right.
So I find if you're not going to go for the deal day, it makes the most sense for me to just go pick things up right when I get there.
Should we mention Laura got me a present?
Yeah, I did.
I just got up to get him. I got this huggable fox. It is the protagonist from Tunic, whose name is unknown to me. I've got 40 hours into this game, and I've yet to learn the protagonist's name, nor do I know if I ever shall. Perhaps the heir? I'm not sure. But I saw the plush, and I was just like, I'm a little tempted, but I'm not going to get him. And Laura was like, I'm going to get him.
I did. I immediately turned my back on you and grabbed him while you were involved in something else.
Yeah, and let me just say, like, such a good plush. Like weighted real well, very huggable. He's got, like, magnets in one hand so you can de-equip his little sword. He's got a strap on his shield so you can take his shield off. Like, he's a little customizable little guy. Very cute, very squishy, and very huggable, as the packaging says. Even, like, the tag was a nice little, like, Easter egg if you'd played the game.
Yeah?
It shows him in, like, spirit form, which happens, like, late in the game.
Oh.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. If you guys don't know, I'm currently playing Tunic on the gaming channel. So if you want to head over to Plus 2 Comedy Gaming and watch me freak out about Tunic, you can do so now. But he's cute and I love him.
Aww. Yeah, I did not buy any plushies. Please clap.
I clap for you. I clap.
Please clap.
You bought this plushie.
Yeah, but it's not for me.
You can hug him. No.
Gentle listeners, I reached across and was immediately told no. Oh my gosh, wait, goodbye.
Yeah, he's a really good plushie.
He's very similar to the Cerberus one I have. Similar like weight to him.
Yeah, he's got
same maker. So.
Yeah, the fine folks at Fangamer make really good plushies. In case you're wondering.
We went to the arcade.
Yes.
Now, the arcade, I feel like I never get to spend a lot of time actually playing things. I love walking around.
Correct.
But it's very hard to get to any of the machines without a substantial wait.
Yes.
So mostly we played pinball.
Yes, we got to play some like real classic pinball machines. I played, what was that called? Medusa, I think? It's very interesting to play the old style pinball games because there's less on them. And also they're not as severely tilted. Like the incline on them is not as steep. So it's actually like a slower game. As opposed to today's pinball machines, which have a steep incline, so that they end faster. Which is interesting, and just like, it's fun to look back at the way things used to be.
Yeah, I played a great Elvira one for a while.
I was just about to bring that up, that it was very like video heavy and such.
It was a really, really well done pinball machine.
Yes, it had clips from Manos, The Hands of Fate in it. Which, as an MST3K fan, much appreciated.
Yeah, it is considered a premium model. I can find them online. They were limited to 400
Oh,
globally,
wow.
according to this. I am looking at, like, resale websites. And it was the Elvira's House of Horrors, I believe.
Yeah?
Yes.
Stay Doomed alumnus to Elvira.
And it was a really, really just a very cool machine.
Yeah.
I really liked that one. I tried to get into a few of them were broken or not functioning.
Yeah, I mean, this is a common problem at MAGFEST, is that there will be machines that are just sitting there out of order for one reason or another. But I will say, like, there's a very interesting variety of games this time at the arcade. Like, there's usually the dance section, where it's not just like your DDRs, your pump-it-ups, and your Step Mania, which clearly no one likes, but also the button-based ones.
Yeah.
That I don't know how to play. There's always a section of that. There's always, like, a section of the 2D fighting games. And then there's, like, a classic section that has, like, your player's choice, and you can play, like, Centipede. We played Bubble Bobble for a while.
Yes. I'm pretty
super
bad
fun.
at Bubble Bobble.
What always freaks me out about the arcade is I can always hear the game I'm playing. Like, if you walk through the arcade, it is a mesh of noise.
But you can somehow always hear the game.
The game you're playing. So I was just sitting there humming Bubble Bobble for quite some time. And there was also, like, the standout, like, weird things that I remember was there was Skee Ball this year. There's a couple, like, physical games, like Skee Ball.
Yes.
There was also a basketball game, like basketball hoop game. And then the big pride and joy that had the biggest line was Train Simulator.
Yes.
It was just like this giant rig, and you got to be the conductor of a train.
Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Yeah. I always want to spend more time in the arcade, but I do find it gets very difficult to approach a machine.
As much as I like the arcade, I like the Indie Showcase far more.
Yes.
Because it is a collection of, like, weird games. Games that you'd never see in an actual arcade.
Like the giant hat.
Yeah, there's a game that's been there for years that I've never gotten a chance to play because there's always a huge line, called Giant Hat, which is a 2-player game where the two of you control somebody using a giant, like, derby.
Yes.
And, like, giant, like the size of your wingspan. And you put it on your head and you tilt, as far as I can see. But we did play some other games. We got to play the horse game.
Yes.
Which was basically like a quap where it was 4 buttons to make something run. But you didn't really know how to make it work. But these 4 buttons were located on the hooves of a stuffed horse.
It was very cute.
So you kind of just, like, made it run on the table and tried to figure it out. And once you got to another point, like a certain point, you could shoot the other person.
Yeah, which I fully admit to not helping you with.
Well, I mean, you won, but, like, I think you very easily could have made this game and been like, it's a horse race. To add that extra element of, like, oh, there's a 5th button you might not have realized was there the whole time. Very funny.
Yeah, so you were like, oh, we shoot each other. How do we shoot each other? And I, like, found the button and immediately shot you.
That was neat. There was a whole section, and I just appreciate that this exists, of new games being developed on old hardware. Like, there's a whole, like, little arena of games for the NES that are coming out. I played the demo to something, I forget what it's called. We recorded it. It'll go up on the gaming channel at some point. But it was like a first-person NES game that in the game you find another game and start playing that, which I was like, this is real meta, it's very interesting, and it's cool that like I played that on an NES with an NES controller. There was an entire segment of Game Boy games, not even Game Boy Color, like Game Boy.
Yeah, everything was very like was very emulator friendly, and it was all kind of on. They were mostly on emulators and not on the old consoles.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure I sat down next to a Nintendo.
I saw a few on emulators.
Okay.
But it was still really cool because it's still meant to be able to be played. Like, they would have been able to be played on those consoles.
Because what the ones that I was saying we were like on a Game Boy, they actually had the Game Boy device, which is like a thing I remember, where you put your Game Boy in and then like it's kind of like a magnifying glass for your Game Boy. So you wouldn't actually have to hold it. You could just kind of sit up straight and look into this thing to play it. That was really nifty. And the fact that people are still developing for these consoles and handhelds. Very surprising, very interesting, and something I want to continue to support.
So, I really enjoyed all of that. I really enjoyed some of the, like, strange little games.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that my gaming prowess is so limited. I am so bad at, like, open world current first person games.
Yeah, Laura played a first person POV game. And, like, was that the first time you had ever tried one of those?
No. I'm just bad at them.
So, if I can try to describe Laura when she's playing a first-person game, she understands that the left stick is walk. She does not understand that the right stick is turn. But she'll figure out what direction she needs to go and will blindly walk backwards rather than turn the character. Just, it's not in her bones to do those things.
I grew up with, you know, the 8 and 16 and 32-bit systems. And, like, Mario 64 was not my favorite. Because I had to start, like, learning how to deal with the camera, too.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting that Nintendo originally came up with the joystick controller. Well, Atari, but, like, the Nintendo 64 was the first one to have, like, an analog stick like that.
Yeah.
And then they realized that you needed something for, like, turning. So they had the C buttons that were up, down, left, right.
Right.
They were just, like, so close to come up with that twin stick idea for a first-person game and just missed it there. And then Sony came out with the DualShock, I believe is the first dual stick controller. And I know I struggled with it when I first experienced it. I may have told this story before, but the first, like, first-person game I ever got to play was GoldenEye. And my friend was playing his Oddjob and just refused to help me.
Ew.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that, like, stops people from liking games.
Yep. This is the same friend that, like, would want to play Jeopardy with me, but had clearly gone through every question once already.
Oh.
I was like, all right.
Oh, that's really annoying.
Yeah. And then the final area that we need to talk about is the console room, which is just a line of Nintendos, Super Nintendos, Segas, Xboxes. Like, every console has some sort of representation here. Like, all the main ones. And just, like, you can just walk up and start playing games. Like, there's a little area full of puzzle games. So we spent some time playing Dr. Mario, which was being played on the original NES hardware and was not working correctly.
It was pretty broken.
It was pretty broken. There was, like, Puzzle Fighter, and we tried to play Wario's Woods at one point. And, of course, we played Panel Le Pawn, and Laura beat me.
Badly.
Pretty senselessly. Laura's just very good at Panel Le Pont.
There are a few better.
Yeah. I always get trounced in Dr. Mario as well.
By me.
That is just a game I cannot play.
And there is one person I know who can best me in Dr. Mario. Mm-hmm. And I hate him.
Yes. You hear that? There's also, though, you could just walk around and find people playing, like, Super Mario World, Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider, just random games being played. Guitaru Man for some reason. Crash Bash. There's an area of Bring Your Own Switch.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you brought your Switch, you could just slide it into the dock and start playing it there. That's very cool. There's a Light Gun Alley where you can play, like, Duck Hunt and Crypt Keeper and Hogan's Alley. And an area that I spent a good amount of time, the MAGFEST challenges. The fact that there's not a good way to play these just on our own so we can enjoy them is a shame. Because they are very inventive ROM hacks, I guess, of various video games.
And they are hard. They
are very difficult. There's a lot of them that stay every year, and then there are more that constantly get added. The one that seemed to be added this year was a Puzzle Fighter one, where you needed to make a 6x6 red gem, which I crushed. That felt good.
Puzzle Fighter is one of your favorite games.
Oh, yeah. I love Puzzle Fighter.
I also really love Puzzle Fighter.
So I crushed that one. There was one where you play as Link from A Link to the Past. And
you were just getting attacked by chickens.
Yeah, you start the game with the chicken storm activated. And you just have to survive it for, I think, a minute with only 2 hit points. Took me some time, but I was able to do that one. There was another new one where it was the original Super Mario Brothers, and you had to guide a mushroom to you.
Yeah, I watched you struggle with this for a while.
So, like, the mushroom's stuck in an area, you have to bump it by hitting, like, the bricks underneath it several times to get it, like, up a staircase. But, of course, if you miss, it bounces all the way back down. Quickly gave up on that one. There's another one where I just kept yelling, "This sucks."
Yeah. I didn't play them because I had played them at Mag Labs and I had rage quit them.
Yeah, they're very hard. I mean, that's the point. There is another original Mario Brothers where you're playing the first level 1-1, but you can't stop running right. If you stop moving or try to turn around at any point, you die immediately.
Oh, no.
So if you hit, like, a pipe, like anything, you die. Very creatively done. There's a Super Mario World where you don't have a jump button, you have a reverse gravity button.
Oh.
So instead of jumping, you flip onto the ceiling, so you gotta make sure that there's something to land on there. Very creative. I would love to just stream all of them, but I don't have access to them. You gotta go to MAGFEST for them. And the way it works is you show up, you scan your badge, and that adds you to a virtual queue.
Yeah, I think this is very well done.
It is very well done. The only thing that I would say is when I saw the MAGFEST games, because I love playing these, I looked and I kind of thought, oh, there's some open. So I scanned it before I even saw the virtual queue being, like, projected on the wall. And I realized, like, when you add yourself to the queue, it also counts down how long you've been waiting.
Yeah.
And there had been people who had already waited an hour. And I was like, oh, I just signed up to an hour of waiting in the console room before I could play. Which was fine, because there was Dr. Mario and Panel Le Pont to play.
Yeah, so you went in good and beaten down. When you know...
We all know you're better at Panel Le Pont. I don't know why you have to be like this.
Let me have it.
I'm letting you have it. I don't know why you're beating me down more.
Because it's the only game I won all weekend.
That's not even true. You won at Pony Game.
I did win at Pony Game.
See?
So, yes, that's like one of the biggest spaces. We looked around a lot in this space, and it kind of just became like the homing spot too. Like if we didn't know what to do, we would go kill time in consoles or the arcade.
Yeah, our space to usually do that is the museum. But the museum, it keeps kind of getting bigger. And by bigger, I mean...
More stuff,
less space.
I really missed how much MAGFEST stuff there used to be in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of cool, like, packages and old... this is where you found a lot of old consoles and a lot of very old cabinets.
Yeah, so the museum is for where you'll find things like ColecoVisions and Atari Jaguars and a lot of, like, really old PCs. Like, if you want to go throw a floppy disk in and play some Oregon Trail, this is where that could happen.
It's really... it's a very well-monitored space.
Yeah.
Unlike the arcade, this is in full light.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well... It's very well-monitored, well-lit.
Yeah. It's a brighter space.
They clearly want to make sure... They want to keep eyes on these items.
Yeah.
The only place I think that has more security is the LAN space. Which sometimes we'll pop into. We don't usually sit down and play.
Yeah.
But they will check your bags when you enter and leave.
Yeah.
So that you don't take anything. Because a lot of things in MAGFEST do belong to someone. They don't belong to MAGFEST proper.
Right.
Even the arcade cabinets belong to someone.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very careful about that.
Yeah. So we went through the museum. There wasn't... Like, we didn't spend as much time as we usually do, kind of like goofing around, playing point-and-click adventures and such. But it was there, it was fun. They had the Memorial X-Men machine, which if you don't know MAG lore, the X-Men arcade machine was one year placed like in an echoey hallway.
Yeah.
And you could always just hear Colossus going, roar! And that became the MAGFEST roar. So people just do that as they walk around now.
And there was a particular man named Charles who did it a lot.
Yes.
And he passed away some years ago from brain cancer. Mm-hmm. And there is still a plaque on that machine in his memory.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of lore in MAG. It was very crowded this year. It was completely sold out.
23,990 some.
Yeah.
Badges sold per closing ceremonies.
Yeah. Absolute insane number.
And it felt it.
Yeah. There's also a couple, like, there's a board game room that you can go and just play board games. There's many.
It's a board game island.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go outside in January to get there.
There are many tabletop RPG spaces, a lot of Pathfinder, a lot of trading card game going on, a lot of Magic the Gathering and Pokemon being played.
Yeah, they did. I almost went over to go learn Lorcana.
Oh, yeah?
But I was afraid.
Of what?
I can't afford
Oh.
to pick up Lorcana as a habit.
Yeah, that's the Disney trading card game for
Yeah,
those who are unaware.
I was like, oh, I can't pick up an expensive habit right now.
There's also various panel spaces. We didn't get a chance to do many panels this year. The two that we had attended, we only got to see like part of. One was Taskmaster.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, was in a very warm room. And it was one of those things where I had performed in Taskmaster last year. And as we were there, it was starting to fill up more and more. So I'd rather give the seat to someone who hadn't seen it before than me that, like, knows the guys running it. But that's a fantastic panel. It's always a blast. And then I also kind of got sucked into Super Art Fight.
Yeah, and you got very sucked into their first panel. You got sucked into the smaller Super Art Fight that was on Friday night.
Yes.
Not the Saturday big super art fight.
Yeah, where they were showing off their game Animals on Fire, I believe it's called.
Yes.
And basically they would give you a silly prompt, and you had 2 minutes to draw whatever that prompt inspired. I got taken on stage with some other people, and ours was Fish Tank.
Yes.
And, everyone knows what a fish tank is, but some people did a drawing of a fish in a bowl controlling a tank. Someone did a tank that looks like a fish. I did the reality show Fish Tank, where sharks ask fish for money.
Yes.
That was very fun. I did not win, but just a fun little, activity. I wish I had picked up a version of Animals on Fire, because it was a funny game. But I did not, and I have regrets. But Super Art Fight, super good time. Those folks are awesome.
There were a few panels we were interested in doing. Again, going back to the MAGFest was very crowded. Mm-hmm. The E3 2010 roleplay panel sounded amazing. Mm-hmm. By the time we got to where it was, the line had already been capped.
Yeah.
So we fled.
Yeah, panels were tight this year because of all the people. They had also moved the arena to a bigger space, which I think was better. There was some Latin dancing going on in there.
Yeah, Latin dancing for nerds is like a perennial favorite. But new this year was the drag show. Yeah,
they had the first drag show, which apparently, I believe what I was told was they had to turn away more people than got in.
Yes, I imagine the drag show will return, and it has to be in main events next year.
Yeah, main events.
It's been one of the most frequent pieces of feedback that I've seen, is that there was clearly an audience for this.
Yeah.
And it was much, and see, I know drag shows are very popular, but I don't know that I would have realized should be in main events popular either. Yeah. Like, I think if I was planning MAGFest, I totally would have put it in the arena too.
Yeah, especially seeing the size of the arena. You'd be like, I assume.
Yeah, this is clearly enough space.
Yeah.
This is a very large room.
And then, of course, there was our panel.
Yes.
We were in panel room 2, which we were up against Bit Brigade, which was like one of the big draws of MAGFest this year. And from what I understand, that concert hall filled.
Yes, Bit Brigade also reached cap.
So we got a lot of people who didn't get into that concert, which is fine. But I might get a little emotional here. Really great mix of people who haven't seen us before and returning customers that wanted to share, little things with us.
Yes.
That I super appreciated.
It was a generous and kind audience.
Yes. Somebody mentioned something that happened when we did Conquest, which was a panel I think we only ran once at MAG, which is our game show.
Yeah, I know we ran it in 2023. We did not run it in 2024 or this year.
Yeah.
I was actually, as some of you know, Google Drive has a limited amount of space, so I'd actually been noodling around deleting things.
Yeah.
And I saw Conquest, and I did not delete the notes for Conquest, but I did kind of have that, we did that at MAGFest in 2023 per this file name.
Yeah, Conquest is kind of it's like a mix of an after midnight talk comedy show with hard trivia. Cause I think one of the rounds for a while was just Actually, because we enjoyed Actually that much.
Yes, it was.
And Dropout wasn't popular enough that everyone knew we were just ripping it off.
Yes. This is post the Mike Trap show.
Yeah.
But pre-Dropout
that we were doing that. And for someone to just say something like, hey, I just wanted to clarify, I was on Conquest. And I was like, oh, God. I had forgotten all about that. I had people coming up to me, talking to me about Game the Gamer.
Yes.
Which, like, I always, like, kind of want to retire because it's a bunch of props. But people really enjoy it, so I always dig it back out.
It had been on a post-COVID hiatus for a while.
Yes.
Because we got a little bit squeamish about people putting their hands all over stuff.
Exactly.
But it could come back.
It could come back. We had people making references to old shows, like past comedy shows that we had done. We had the one guy, his name escapes me now, but he came up to me and he was like, I've been a fan of you since the Roast of the Angry Video Game Nerd, and I've never seen you live. And I was like, I had no idea that a person would have that experience.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah, so, like, the idea that, because, like, I've always, but not always, but, like, I kind of came to terms with the idea that we tried to do conventions wrong. Because usually what happens is you get famous, and then conventions want to bring you in. We wanted to be famous for going to conventions and doing the convention thing.
Which is not a thing.
Which is not a thing. And
not a thing.
Because I remember when we did the Roast of the Angry Video Game Nerd, Captain S, Brett Vanderbrook, came up to me afterwards and was like, I had no idea who you were. You're so funny. What do you do?
Who are you?
And I was like, oh, I do comedy. He's like, yeah, but like, what's your YouTube show? Like, what's your product? And I was like, oh, it's stand-up. And that doesn't work because it's not a tangible, touchable, watchable thing. You have to go to the live show. So to know that there were people that were like, I've never seen you, but I was a fan. Needed that in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at guidebook. You shouldn't read your reviews. You shouldn't read stuff like that. We had, as of this afternoon, a perfect score on guidebook.
Yeah.
Please don't ruin it.
Yeah, please don't
ruin
get
it
this
for fun. And we had more 5-star reviews than Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Yeah!
Who probably filled a much larger room.
Yeah, take that, Super Eye Patch Wolf. We're in a fight now.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We respect you so much.
We love you.
No, we respect you. Please don't. Noah can be in a fight with you. I'm not in a fight with anyone.
Oh, he would kill me.
Yes.
He does jujitsu.
Yeah, that's why I'm not fighting anybody. I would have liked... There were a few panels I really would have liked to have gone to.
Sure.
There was one defending the Super Mario Brothers movie in 1993.
Yes, I wish we had gotten to that.
I didn't trust myself to go to that. Like, I was worried it would unlock the worst impulses in me to, like, storm the stage and be like, I know about this.
I was worried we were going to show up and be like, this is my panel, by the way.
Yeah, like, I was worried I was going to act in a way that is unbecoming.
Because I know I would have been like, when we were discussing this, are you talking about the Morton Jenkel cut that was released on archive.org or the original theatrical release?
I would have just cited a bunch of weird research I already had and been like, I know that. I knew this. And just been annoying. So I did not. But I wanted to spend a little more time going to some of the panels, but a lot of them capped.
Yeah.
If you wasn't in panel 1, there's a good chance it capped or almost capped.
Yeah. It was pretty full. It was pretty full was MAGFest, but I still had a great time.
We wandered around the makerspace a little.
Oh yeah, we spent a little bit of time there.
I love the makerspace. Some years there's just something out that I want to do. This year, everything was pretty full when I got to it. Mm-hmm. This is kind of a common theme this year of MAGFest, as I would have done X, but it was already very full. But the makerspace is just really cool. I was sort of hoping there'd be people like actively crocheting.
Yeah.
So I could be like, someone teach me something.
Yeah.
Because I know pretty basic crochet, but I see all of these really cool stitches online, and I'm like, someone help me.
I also love the area that just teaches you how to pick locks.
Yes.
That's something we had done in past years, and it's always good to see that that's back. Because picking locks, very relaxing activity, as it turns out.
Yeah, I believe one year you then bought a bunch of locks.
Yeah, I brought locks and lockpicks because they're fun. I don't know where my lockpicks are. I should get on that.
I've hidden them. They're somewhere in the apartment behind some locks.
Oh, well, how am I supposed to do anything?
Well, improvise.
Fun story. I once built an escape room for Laura.
Yeah. It was my birthday.
And...
was it my birthday or was it Valentine's Day?
I think it was your birthday. And there's a part where she opened a box, and sitting on top of it was a locked box with a set of lockpicks on top of it, so that she had to pick the locks. But underneath that box was the key, and she never looked, and I just got to sit back and do my best Alex Horn of like, she doesn't know.
This was pre my obsession with Taskmaster, because that would never happen now.
Yeah.
I would look now.
Yeah, always look on the back of the task.
There was also something in that escape room I straight up skipped and never missed.
Yeah.
Like, I skipped a clue, but solved it anyway. Mm-hmm. Which, to be fair, is very Taskmaster.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other spaces. We stopped up in the Magpie area, which was really cool.
Yes.
It was an inclusive area meant for people from marginalized communities to be able to kind of have a space in MAGFest. And there were very small panels there. Again, they were impossible to get into.
Yeah, there's no space. But we tried. It looked like there was a lot of like arts and crafts going on in there because there was art hung up later.
And there was name change paperwork by state, which I thought was a really cool touch. Mm-hmm. And people to like help with, you know, the actual legal processes, which is very in the spirit of like the do-it-yourself mag.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, here's how to do this. You can learn how to crochet, solder, pick a lock, and change your name in 4 states.
Yeah.
Like, it's really great.
I mean, I think the best part of MAG is kind of like the community and the memes.
Yes, for only the second year I've noticed, MAGFest has become a ribbon con.
Yes, collecting various different ribbons. I didn't get many ribbons. It was very sad.
I only got a couple. I didn't try that hard to get a lot.
I wanted Nick Gage Squirtle, and I looked for him, and I could not find him.
Yeah, they did have like a database online of all the ribbons that people were bringing with them and how to get them. But a lot of them hinged on finding specific people, which was not always easy to do.
No, it certainly was not. That being said, some of my favorite memes that I saw. One, the shrines are always funny.
Yes.
There was a big shrine. There's always a big shrine to Danny DeVito, which Doogie Horner's book, a Christmas illustrated version of Die Hard, was there. I was like, oh, it's my buddy Doogie's book. There was also a shrine to Jennifer Coolidge this year.
The second annual Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser got one this year. There was one for David Lynch, who had passed away, which had like coffee cups and stuff like that. That was pretty cool.
And a TV just straight up showing Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Which was really cool, and I have confirmed was not put there by the person who put up the shrine.
No, that's neat.
Like, someone else just was like, yeah.
I can make this happen.
Which is very MAGFest.
Yeah.
Compliment.
But the 3, like, wandering memes that I saw that I really enjoyed were, 1, Free Wedding, which was a guy dressed as a priest next to a guy holding a sign that said Free Wedding. And I looked at it and just kind of giggled. And he was like, we're serious. He has the paperwork. We'll marry you right now. And I was like, oh, I'm good.
There was at least one couple who did renew their vows.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Per Reddit.
The second would be The Flock of Geese.
That made me so happy.
Like, we walked in and there was just a flock of different geese cosplayers. All like very different versions of the goose as well. So I don't think they showed up as a unit. They had just become a unit. And as I walked by, I went, get out of here, you geese. And they all immediately swarmed and honked at me and pecked at me. I was like, you dang goose. This is a no goose area.
You immediately angered the geese, which was a choice, not one I would have made.
Because that's the experience I wanted. I wanted... They are being geese to be annoying. So you want to be annoyed by them so that they feel justified and seen.
So that they can achieve their purpose.
Exactly. And then my absolute favorite, I don't know why I love this so much, but the bottom floor is where like the vendor's room is and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So there's steps to get down and there's an escalator. Now, here's the thing. When escalators are temporarily stairs, you're not supposed to walk up them.
Correct.
It's not safe. So some guy dressed as Robotnik took it upon himself to not let people up the escalator.
And to soundly abuse those who tried.
So he would I just walked by and purposely went, I have to take the stairs. And he was like, boo-hoo, you have to take the stairs. I loved it. What a fun little silly interaction.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if that was somebody who was on staff or just someone helping out.
Yeah, but he was like, if he was on staff, he was like, I have to do this as Robotnik.
Easily the most common cosplay I saw are different, definitely different styles of Robotnik.
Yes, you mean Eggman?
Some of them were Robotnik.
I was just being difficult.
I know, I ignored you. Some of them were just very close to the film. Some of them were much closer to the games. So there were different flavors of the character.
Yeah.
But it was definitely... I think I saw more Robotnik / Eggman than Sonic's.
Yes.
Maybe not more than I saw Tails. I feel like I saw a lot of Tails.
I feel like I saw the least amount of Sonics versus Tails and Shadows and Knuckles just running around.
Yeah, I did see a fair number of Knuckles now that you say it.
Yeah.
We got to play test a game called Terrible Influence.
Yes, very cool idea.
And it's essentially going from being an influencer, climbing the ranks of fame and power, and eventually becoming president.
Yes.
So, great gameplay. There was a lot of really fun mechanics to it.
Mechanically very interesting in that, as you move up, you go from having influence to having fame to having power. And depending on where you are on the social ladder, depends on what cards you can use to increase your influence or money or your cash flow. And very well written, a lot of silliness and it rides the line nicely of if you are a quiet gamer that prefers hard, fast rules, and just following the game and see what happens. This is a good game for you. If you're a loud gamer like me, that's kind of having fun and it's a game that requires personality, like a charades or something where you have to be animated and it's what you put into it that really helps. This is also a good game for you.
Yeah, there were opportunities to do... All of the opportunities to do any kind of role play were optional.
Yes, but rewarded.
But rewarded. So you could be canceled. So there'd be things like, someone started a rumor about you. Do your 15-second apology video.
Yeah, stuff like that was really fun. But it's in development. I believe there will be a Kickstarter for it eventually that we might appear in. I don't know.
Yeah, we did take some pictures.
But it's a real fun game. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I really, really can't wait to I have some other friends that I was when this game comes out, I really want to play it with them.
Absolutely.
So it could be our next pitch storm level fun game.
Yes.
I really enjoyed playtesting that game. I really enjoyed doing our panel. We are old, so we definitely don't have the full MAGFEST experience the way some do, in that we do not stay up till sunrise.
Yeah, like there's a ribbon that you get if you're up at 4, and that's a ribbon I will never have.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. What am I doing with my life? Or I've lost control of my life, like from Rugrats.
I'd much rather be asleep at that time.
For sure.
But I think that's a pretty good summary of our MAGFest experience. I should say that a lot of people shouted out the podcast as well at our panel.
They did. It was really cool.
So if you were at MAGFest and you said hello to us, hello back.
Yeah, hi.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, and the people at MAGFest are creative and generous, and it's so much fun to go. Like, people bring trinkets just to give people.
Yeah.
Like, someone just gave me a light-up unicorn horn, which was very kind.
Yeah.
The ribbons. People were leaving trinkets around with hashtag #MagandSeek.
Yeah, they're just, like, hiding stuff around.
And they were just like, hey, if you find this, post it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool place to be. Can't wait till next year.
Yeah, I'm in that, like, post-con, like, I'm very psyched for next year feeling. Yeah. And it's good because now I'm gonna, take some of that hype into getting ready to apply for Too Many Games.
Woo! Yeah, come see us at Too Many Games. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us on this Stay Doomed adventure. Next week, it's Razzie Month, y'all.
Razzie Month!
And we know what the people want. So we're starting with what the people want. We're watching
cars.
Yeah, we're watching Madam Web, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So get excited for that. We will see you next week. But until then, where can people find us?
You can email us at thestaydoomedshow@gmail.com or on... I'm not even going to say Facebook because we never really check the Facebook much. So on Blue Sky at Stay Doomed.
If you check the Facebook, I do get a notification, I believe. And you know what? No, I'm not sure. But if you want to talk to me about your favorite video game music, I'm at TV's Noah on Blue Sky and Instagram.
If you want to suggest +2 comedy or Stay Doomed themed ribbons, because I do really want to make ribbons for next year, I am at Laura Crane on Blue Sky or at Glitter and Glow Tape on Instagram. Until next time, stay doomed. MAGFEST.